Welcome back to the studio. This is part 3 and our final video of our Easter Bunny Clone Trooper mashup print. And it was almost a complete failure. It was the last 2 spools of printed solid neon pink that I had, and the power went out. The Raise 3D Pro 2 recovered, but had a slight minor imperfection in the helmet. You can see with this little line right here. The Prusa Mark 3S usually handles power loss recovery very well, but in this case, it didn't do so hot. It had a massive layer shift, probably from bad homing, so we just started the print again. In any event, here we are, all the 3D printing is done, and it's time to make this fun helmet come to life. Total print time for this so far is about 70 hours. The main bucket is about 38 hours, and the ears, because they're MMU2 colors done on that Prusa Mark III, it's about 33 hours, which is quite a bit for something that doesn't weigh very much. The accessories were only about an hour. This was done on the Prusa Mini, and the helmet was done on the Raise 3D Pro 2. Now the visor material that we use, this is what's actually going to make the whole helmet come to life. We use a replacement face shield. It's a slight green tint, and you can see through that. And that's actually what's going to make the helmet come to life. All it does is block a little bit of light from making it into the helmet, and you're going to want to stay tuned to the end to see the final result. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we have to remove some supports, so we're going to start removing these, right? Matter of fact, I should probably get some gloves, but... like magic. All right, so all we're doing is we're going to remove some supports from the helmet, and like I said, we'll get this all cleaned up as I pull these supports off. But ultimately, it's just PLAs. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful supports come right off that. Perfection. Prusa supports. I like to use a torch and clean up all the little fine details, clean up all the little edges, gets rid of the little strings and hairs. All right. Then we'll hit the helmet with the torch. All right. So I like to clean up those edges. You can heat that with a torch and then run your finger or any other tool along it. And you can use the torch and then run your fingers along it. It'll clean up any little sharp little bits of filament. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now that we have the supports removed, it's going to be really easy to put it together. We use 3D Gloop, which is a fantastic adhesive for PLA, PETG, ABS, things like that. But this one, obviously PLA Gloop. It creates a chemical weld between the parts, so the actual glooped parts will be stronger than the layer lines themselves. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put the accessories on. So I'm going to get all the accessories put on, then I'll put the visor in, and then I'll put the ears on for the final reveal. Best adhesive we've ever used for putting 3D prints together. And so what we're going to do is get a little 3D Gloop on this side, get a little bit of 3D Gloop down inside there, and then we're going to put our little aerator down in here. So then we're going to take some 3D Gloop, get some 3D Gloop on here. Some 3D Gloop right there, and then we're going to go ahead and set this right down inside there. There we go. The gloop's pretty quick. All right, so now we're going to get the side pieces on here. We'll do that same thing with 3D Gloop here. Doesn't take much. Like that's quite a bit. Just going to touch it right here in the middle. Does not take much. And this is how fast Gloop sets, just like that. Look at this. And that's it, just like that. Yeah, this Gloop is fantastic. Like I said, it sets relatively quickly. I got a little bit more on this one than I needed, so I didn't need to put any on the helmet. I can just attach it. And it gives you plenty of time to get it to, you have plenty of time to move it around. We have our earpieces on. We have the front aerators. And now we have our teeth, which what we did is we took the standard greeble that was with the Galactic Armory model, is we just modified it and gave it a little bit of fun teeth, and we did that inside Prusa Slicer. All right. Look at that. All right, so now the last thing to do is we're gonna get the visor put in, and I'll show you how we do that. So we can set the helmet right here, let that Gloop kind of cure for a minute. Always make sure you close the bottle of your Gloop. That's the biggest complaint that we get during our live shows when people that have Gloop is people forget to close the lid on the Gloop. I've done it, and it looks like I'm not alone. A lot of people do that, and it glues or it dries out your Gloop. Look at all these supports. Actually, you know what? The truth is, that's really not that much support material for the helmet. So if you actually look at this, look at this. So this is the support material that came off the helmet and the ears. Look at that. That's nothing for a print this big. Now, look at this. This is the MMU purge block from the Prusa. There is more material here in that purge block in weight than there is for all of this. This is light, right? This is a lot more dense. There is a lot more filament here in this purge block just for this than there is for both of the support materials. That's why we've optimized the helmet printing here in the studio. We've optimized that one spool of filament equals one helmet. And we've done that not only with using 0.8 millimeter nozzles, but we've done that with reducing the amount of support material that we invest into these helmets. The first helmets that we printed here in the studio were 1.2, 1.5, 1.6, 1.8 kilograms of filament. It was a lot. And it takes a lot of experience and time to sit and slice to reduce a helmet down to less than a kilogram of filament. So less than one spool. So this is about 8 to 900, 880, 900. And I think when we're all said and done, I think by the time the ears go on here, I think we'll be still under a kilogram of filament, because this does not weigh very much. Now total, with waste material, we're probably at about 1.2, 1.1-ish, 1.5, 1.2 kilograms of filament. But I think that's acceptable. All right, so we have the accessories put on. We have the ears, we have the teeth, which are awesome, and we have the aerators. The next thing that we're gonna do is we gotta get the visor in before we put the ears on. We're gonna put the ears on last for full effect. So here's what we're gonna do. We use a face shield. It's just a replaceable face shield, and I'll have the information on where to pick up face shields from Amazon in the description below. We make a lot of helmets here, and for that, need some craft scissors and a template and some blue painter's tape. And so basically I have a template that I use for all the Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmets, and I'm gonna go ahead and lay this on here, and then we're going to tape this into place with the blue painter's tape, and then we're going to hit it with some craft scissors. Only takes a few moments, and you can tell with how much blue painter's tape is on here that I've done this once or twice. So we just tape it in a few spots just to hold it in place while we cut it. Traditional craft scissors, very simple, and we're going to go ahead here with the craft scissors, and we're just going to make some really quick cuts, and it doesn't have to be exactly precise. Close is good enough. And but how we do this is I lay the craft paper inside the helmet before we start, and to make the template, and I lay it in there, mark it with a Sharpie or with a pen, get it rough, and then you just fine tune it with a pair of scissors on that craft paper, and you come up with your own template. Now Galactic Armory, it does have a template that you can use. I just never used it. I just kind of made my own template for the style and the kind of the shape that I wanted. But it doesn't take very long to cut this out. And before you know it, we'll be able to set this in there. There's lots of ways to attach the visor on the inside of the helmet, and I use hot glue. And I just tack it in a few places just to hold it so it doesn't move. Oh, a little bit of tape slide there. And that is it. So there is our template. And I saved these other little pieces. I saved these because we have like TIE Fighter pilot helmets, we have Boba Fett helmets, we have quite a few other helmets in some of the small eye openings. The scraps from the visor material works fantastic. This is what it looks like before we put the visor in. Watch when we put the visor in. The helmet really comes to life. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? So now we have the visor in. I'm going to tack it with a little bit of hot glue, just so it can't go anywhere. And now it's time to gloop on the ears. This is the final piece to this awesome helmet. Here it comes. Here we go. It does not take much gloop to attach these ears. Not much gloop at all. Here it comes. Check this out. Tell me that that is not sick. Fantastic print. Now this is an Easter Bunny Star Wars Clone Trooper mashup. Nick Dimelow is the fantastic designer which took the Galactic Armory model, or the inspired model, and he modified this custom for us and put a set of ears on it. And he designed that so we could have it MMU, so we could print it multi-material, multicolor. Come on, what do you think of that? Is that awesome or what? Wait a minute, we forgot whiskers. So hang on, let's add those. And how we do that is we're gonna use a little rod here, a little metal rod, and we're gonna heat that up with a torch. So come in here and take a look at this. All right? So we're gonna heat this up with the torch. As soon as this thing is bright red, we're gonna push this in to the plastic on the face here. And we're gonna leave some holes for the whiskers. So come in here and take a look. So what we do is we heat that up and we push that in, and then we're just gonna make a little opening about the size of some PLA. I'm gonna mark 3 whiskers on each side. And then after we do this, 3 whiskers on each side, or the holes, we're gonna cut the whiskers, and then we're gonna gloop them in here. There's the opening. We'll fix this one a little bit. Little triangle pattern. All right, so there's one. Now we'll do this other side. Just leave that little opening. And we're gonna do it again. 2 more times. Then we're gonna cut the PLA into whisker length strips. And there it is. And now what we're going to do is we are going to cut up some whisker length pieces of PLA here. So let's get some clean PLA. I promise that went in the trash, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off 6 of these. Now you can give a whisker a little trim after. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. Put the filament back in the keeper, throw it back over here in my stash of printed solid. And now we have 6 whiskers. We can use 3D Gloop to gloop these whiskers in place here. I'll show you how that's done. Now Gloop is pretty fast. All right, so we're just gonna set that right down inside there. Like that. Second whisker. And all we're doing is putting a little bit of Gloop on the end of each whisker. And we just push it in here and I give it a turn. Just kind of see what we got here. Nothing like a clone trooper bunny helmet that doesn't have straight whiskers. Can't have that, that would just be embarrassing. And last whisker right here. All right, there it is. Now we'll give the little bunny a little trim, and it's going to look fantastic. Not as easy as I think it is. And there we are. Take a look at that. That right there is a fantastic, fantastic helmet. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the content. We'd love to have you subscribe. We have lots more fun content coming like this. And we'd also love to see you over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LoyalMoses, where we have a live 3D printing show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for watching again.